This is an ABC 17 Storm Track winter weather alert. Snow is moving into the area and will continue overnight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joey Parker.
And I'm Jillian Fertig. We have team coverage tonight in both Columbia and Jefferson City. We're keeping a watch on those road conditions, and our ABC 17 Storm Track weather team is tracking that winter storm.
And we start with ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Sharon Ray, who's watching the changes on radar now.
Well, indeed, and it has really picked up outside in right along Interstate 70. This is a live look from our weather camera in Columbia, and take a look at that snow. It's coming down heavily right now. There is a narrow band of heavy snow right along Interstate 70, and that has increased the snowfall rates. We have seen some pretty good amounts so far. Here's what we're expecting, though, for this system: anywhere from an inch near Highway 36, 4 inches at Moberly, and up to 6 inches toward Eldon, Jeff City 5, and at the Lake of the Ozarks, 7 to 8 inches of snow. So it is going to come down pretty good in the overnight hours. That's when we will have the highest amounts of snow in the area. Here is a look at ABC 17 Storm Track live Doppler radar. You can see the bright white here right along Interstate 70. There's a narrow band in here. That's producing that heavy snow I just showed you. We're still seeing light snow farther to the north, and totals that have come in so far were anywhere from 3 inches now at Moberly, and near Hallsville about 1.5 inches on the ground, and in Columbia just over 1 inch has fallen. Jeff City still haven't seen the snow quite yet, but it'll pick up here within the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes. But right now, this is the bright band that's bringing that snow heavily across Boonville. Bob Bosma reporting about 1 inch and 6/10 of an inch of snow, and most of that came within just about 20 minutes as that moved through. Elsewhere, snow is increasing to the west. Here's the west side of the Lake of the Ozarks and Truman Reservoir, and you can see how this is pushing closer to the lake, and right now that snow is coming down moderately. So that will continue to fill in this area, this gap. So in the overnight hours, we'll continue to have snow increasing. That's a look at Storm Track Doppler radar right now. Here is a look at the track of the snow as it moves through in the overnight hours. Again, most of our accumulation will be anywhere from 11 o'clock tonight until about 4 in the morning for much of mid-Missouri, continuing into the morning hours south. Here is a look at 9 o'clock this evening. That heavier snow band continuing to settle to the south. Some heavy pockets of heavy snow picking up at midnight across Jefferson City, the Lake of the Ozarks. You can see the darker blue areas here. Meanwhile, it becomes lighter in our northern counties after midnight. The snow will start decreasing in intensity and tapering off. This is midnight tonight. You can see as I put this into motion at 3 o'clock in the morning, still a pretty good area of steady snow coming down along Interstate 70 southward to almost the Lake of the Ozarks and continuing lightly in our southeast counties. It'll pick up again toward morning southeast. You can see this is 3 in the morning. See that band as it pushes through this area just about daybreak. Now, by the time you head out the door in the morning, if you live north of Interstate 70, the snow will have stopped. However, you'll still be seeing some light snow coming down south of Interstate 70, including Fulton, Jeff City, Eldon, some light snow in the early morning tomorrow, and still coming down at a pretty good clip, some moderate snow right along Interstate 44. This is 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So plan on very slow travel in the morning. We'll have snow-covered roads, and some areas the visibilities will be reduced, especially closer to Interstate 44. By 10 o'clock in the morning, we're still with temperatures in the teens, but the snow is ending. And tomorrow's going to be a cold but drier day as we see mostly cloudy skies and highs in the 20s. We are again looking at that 2 to 4 inch band right along Interstate 70 and just north, but from Columbia southward, 4 to 6 inches of snow, including Jeff City, 6 to 8 farther south along Interstate 44, where you are under a winter storm warning. In fact, much of the area south of Interstate 70 has a winter storm warning until early tomorrow. There's the ABC 17 Storm Track 7-day forecast then. The snow moves out early. We end up with drier weather, just a slight chance of a brief hit of snow Tuesday. And look at that temperature Wednesday, bitterly cold for the middle of the week.
All right, thanks a lot, Sharon. We continue our winter 2015 storm coverage in Columbia and Jefferson City tonight.
ABC 17 Storm Track meteorologist Jessica Quick has a look at the conditions off of I-70. Hi, Jessica.
Hey Joey, we're looking here across I-70. I'm at Providence at the bridge at mile marker 126. You can see the snow is coming down pretty hard right now. The interstate's pretty covered at this time. There's still quite a bit of traffic, but the roads are going to be somewhat slick. We even had a little bit of trouble getting over here just because the roads were so compacted already. We've got about an inch of snow so far, but this time it's looking like it's going to be more of a fluffy snow. So it's not going to be like the wet, slushy snow we had earlier this month, which means our snow totals are going to be a little bit higher thanks to the higher snow ratios. And we are going to be dealing with a little bit lighter winds, so that's going to help reduce some of those blowing and drifting concerns we normally see with heavy snow like this. However, we are still, as Sharon said, expecting more snow overnight, and that could make for some hazardous travel as you're heading out tomorrow morning. So you want to keep an eye on our website, abc17news.com. You can go to the live tracking section. That's where we'll be posting our updates with live pictures and radar updates throughout the evening. I'll be back here in an hour on ABC 17 News at 10 on KMIZ with another update from Columbia. Reporting live in Columbia, I'm Jessica Quick, ABC 17 News.
Jessica, thank you. And of course, the winter weather is bringing along, as Jessica said, some slick roads.
And we're checking in with both crews in Columbia and Jefferson City to see how they've been prepping those roads, what their plans are for overnight and into the morning. ABC 17's Lucas Geisler is live on Old 63 and Broadway in Columbia. Lucas, those crews have been out there since 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, Jillian, trucks began rolling through Columbia in the afternoon. In fact, some of the salt from last week's winter storm even remained on these roads as trucks really got ahead of the snow, making sure they were well salted before the snow rolled in just about an hour ago. Right now, very quiet out here. You're looking behind me, the scene on East Broadway here in Columbia heading towards Highway 63. Right now, not only the storm, the snow coming down here is very quiet, but also the cars as they go along driving on the snow. You can't really hear them along the way. Now, Columbia Public Works are working on those 190 miles of priority routes. Broadway here, East Broadway, being one of them. Public Works spokesman Steve Sapp explained to us on Friday just what made a priority route here in Columbia and also why it's important not to park on any of them.
Those are your major streets that lead into subdivisions, employment centers, schools. So, for example, on the north side of town, Blue Ridge, Derby Ridge, Garth Avenue, those are some good examples on the north side. We want our customers to go ahead and move the cars because when they do, we can get those priority routes done much faster. If we have 4 inches or more snow after that, we can get into the residential areas much quicker.
And earlier today, MoDOT Central District sent its 27 trucks throughout the area. Supervisor Richard Skeeter says employees from its northern maintenance station are working down here in Boone County as well. They're pre-treating the roads now to try to make traveling tomorrow easier. MoDOT takes employees really from multiple ends, multiple parts of the agency to come in. In fact, one aviation employee right now is loading up those trucks with salt at their station in Columbia. Reporting live here in Columbia, Lucas Geisler, ABC 17 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Lucas. And in Jefferson City, crews are not pre-treating those roads just yet.
As cold as these temperatures are, if we put any salt on it, it's going to melt a little bit, and then it's going to freeze back, and we have a sheet of ice. So we probably won't treat till tomorrow morning. We're confident that we can deal with it, whatever comes, but everybody needs to recognize that when it is still snowing, it's going to be some hazardous conditions out there. So if you don't need to go out, just wait and give us a little time.
As the snow comes, there will be 23 crews, we're told, clearing the roadways in Jefferson City. They're monitoring weather conditions and have a few crews ready for emergencies before the majority of the snow hits.
Road crews say they typically get those roads clear within 3 hours of the snow ending. They say with tomorrow being a holiday, they may actually be able to get it cleared a little bit earlier because there will be less people on that morning commute. We're getting some calls into our newsroom tonight about closings tomorrow. Watlow Electric in Columbia is canceling its third shift for tonight, and they'll have a delayed start for 7 a.m. and tomorrow morning for that first shift. Cargill Incorporated, the processing plant in California, will be closed tomorrow. For a complete list of those closings, visit our website, abc17news.com, and we'll, of course, continue our ABC 17 Storm Track Winter Storm 2015 coverage starting tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. on ABC 17 News. This morning, our Storm Track team will continue to track the storm as it moves through the area, and our crews will be live with updates on road conditions for the morning commute.
A man is dead tonight after being shot near his home in Jefferson City. It happened around 1 o'clock this afternoon in the 1100 block of East High Street.
ABC 17's Ashley Strohmeyer talked with police today. She's live in our Jefferson City newsroom with the details. Ashley.
Jillian, neighbors I spoke to who live right across the street from the victim's apartment say they didn't hear or see anything. One man who did not want to go on camera says he did know the victim and says he was a quiet man who kept to himself. When Jefferson City police got to the 1100 block of East High, they found a 53-year-old man unconscious. The victim lived in an apartment complex, and after he was shot, he was able to get to a neighbor's house to call police. The man was taken to the hospital but died shortly after getting there. One man who lives across the street from the victim says he was in his home at the time of the shooting, but he didn't hear anything. He says he had been cordial with the victim but didn't know much about him because the victim, who the neighbor calls Johnny, kept to himself. Police are talking to people the victim was associated with to find out more about the homicide. Police tell me there are currently no suspects or suspect descriptions, but they say those responsible for the homicide should be considered armed and dangerous. Live in the Jefferson City newsroom, Ashley Strohmeyer, ABC 17 News.
Thanks a lot, Ashley. Anyone with information is urged to call Jefferson City Police, or you can call 659-TIPS at Crime Stoppers to remain anonymous. Tomorrow is President's Day, which means most state offices will be closed with the exception of emergency services. Most banks and financial institutions will be closed, and there will be no regular mail delivery. County offices, including courts, will also be closed, but Columbia and Jefferson City offices will be open.
The Columbia City Council is set to vote on 2 bills related to the Uber transportation service tomorrow night. The first bill would amend the code to add an article related to services like Uber. Now, the second would amend the city code to regulate taxi cab businesses and taxi stand hours. Under the proposals, operators would have to apply for a permit and pay a permit fee. It would also require a thorough background check. The city says Uber opposes the proposed ordinance. And the Jefferson City Council will not be meeting tomorrow. Instead, their meeting is scheduled for Tuesday.
Republican lawmakers in Missouri are going forward with tax exemptions. They're also pushing ahead on a requirement that businesses be notified when tax code changes. Governor Jay Nixon vetoed several bills related to taxes last year, and the legislature didn't override them. Some lawmakers say this year they're working with the governor and the Revenue Department to make sure the bills are successful. On Tuesday, the renovations at the Gateway Arch in St. Louis will close the museum at its base. When it reopens, it'll have new high-tech exhibits and a new entrance. The National Park Service staff says 40 years has taken a toll on some of the exhibits, so the renovations are necessary. The tram cars will not be affected, though, and it'll still be able to take riders to the top of the arch during those renovations.
Just ahead on ABC 17 News at 9 on Fox 22 KQFX, where the news comes first.
Time is ticking toward the deadline to apply for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act. We'll tell you what you need to know if you still need coverage.
Plus, a new video released by ISIS supporters apparently shows Christian hostages being beheaded. Those disturbing details still to come.
In a public health alert tonight, it is the last night to enroll for 2015 coverage under the Affordable Care Act.
And that deadline is at midnight. Now, applications don't have to be finished by midnight, but they have to be started to ensure coverage. Some states are allowing those who've been working on an application for a few days to have extra days to decide on a plan. Those who don't have health insurance will face financial penalties. And the Federal Aviation Administration is set to release its awaited rules governing the use of commercial drones. An administrator says the FAA plans to outline the rules in more detail later. Right now, all commercial remote-controlled aircraft are banned except in rare cases. Drones have been a serious problem in recent years because of several close calls with commercial passenger airlines.
A new video released by militants in Libya claiming loyalty to the Islamic State. Well, they're apparently showing a mass beheading of a Coptic Christian hostages. The video, which appears on a Twitter feed of a website that supports Islamic State, appears to show militants dressed marching captives to the beach. Now, the prisoners were then forced on their knees and beheaded. The killings raise the possibility that the Islamic militant group controls about a third of Syria and Iraq, and, of course, their self-declared caliphate.
Major developments tonight in the terror attacks in Denmark. Police believe they've killed the gunman in both of those deadly attacks.
But they do know that they need some help. And ABC 17's Bonzi Kanini has the latest on the search for answers.
The sights and sounds of terror rocking Copenhagen.
I'm not sure how many shots, but I'd say about 20 or 30 shots.
Dozens of gunshots marked what would be the beginning of a man's deadly assault on the city, first at a cafe, then at a synagogue.
We are devastated. Our thoughts goes to the whole of the Jewish community today. They belong in Denmark.
The two attacks launched a massive manhunt for this suspect caught on surveillance cameras hours before the second attack, carrying a machine gun. Police caught up with him overnight, killing him. Now they confirm he was 22 years old, had a violent criminal record, and a history with gangs. His rampage started Saturday afternoon when gunshots shattered glass during a free speech debate organized by controversial cartoonist Lars Vilks.
I could hear the gunshots approaching. I could hear Arabic and the shouts, Allahu Akbar.
Vilks survived, but one man died and 3 others were hurt. By nightfall, panic and evacuations as shots rang out again, this time outside a Copenhagen synagogue. A 37-year-old Jewish man gunned down, working security for a bar mitzvah. The gunman ran away, but early Sunday morning, authorities confronted him in the street, exchanging fire.
I woke up at 5 by the shooting, and I looked out of the window, and I saw a lot of policemen and a guy laying on the street.
By midday Sunday, investigators mounted raids, making several arrests, still searching for answers. Bonzi Kanani, ABC News, Washington.
Well, a winter storm continues to move into mid-Missouri tonight. I'll have the latest on Storm Track Live Doppler radar and show you some updated snow totals as of right now. And we'll take a look at those cold temperatures to start the week next. Well, the snow continues to come down, and we are getting reports coming in from our storm trackers and from spotters around the region. Columbia now up to 1 inch, Moberly at 3. Boonville, Kristen Finder said now she's got 2 inches of snow in Boonville, still coming down. And near Hallsville, 2 inches. Vandalia 3. Montgomery City, that total rising with a ½ an inch in the last report. Well, you can see outside right now, we have 20 degrees at the Lake of the Ozarks, and look at that snow coming down in Columbia. Moderate snow and 14 degrees right now. Boy, it is wintry out there. And Jeff City still waiting for the flakes to start appearing. 19 degrees. You're right on the edge of that snow. It's just north. And look how white it's getting in Sedalia as you are looking at that snow continuing to come down at a moderate pace. You can see on Storm Track Doppler radar the bright white areas in here that indicate the moderate snowfall, and a thin band near Interstate 70 still coming down. This will all gradually just fill in. This moving to the south, and this area of snow pulling to the east tonight and continuing to pick up as we have a storm system which is still well to our west-southwest. We have a winter storm warning for the areas in pink until 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, although most of the snow will be done by noon, and a winter weather advisory to the north for these snow amounts. And again, we're looking at a 1 to 2 inch difference from these numbers, but to pinpoint those, you can see around 4 in Columbia and Moberly, 6 inches Jeff City, and 6 to 7 around the Lake of the Ozarks. Sedalia ending up with about 4 inches through Boonville. So some pretty decent amounts. And as we've been showing you, the roads are already snow covered, and we'll continue to see that snow piling up out there later tonight. We have a couple of things happening. This narrow band of snow pulling to the south. And as this storm system gets closer to us, all of this will increase through the night and then gradually move out of here by tomorrow morning. You can see that on Future Track. Here's 10 o'clock tonight. The back edge of the snow still well to the north. Snow increasing in our southern counties and becoming moderate at times. Notice here, though, 3 in the morning, already ending north of Highway 24, and then to right around Interstate 70 by daybreak tomorrow. 7 in the morning, the snow will be ending in Columbia, still coming down lightly in Jeff City. And that continues to push to the southeast, ending before noon in all of mid-Missouri, leaving us just with some cold, dry weather. Lows tonight in the low to mid-teens, and highs tomorrow. Not a very warm day. We stay in the 20s all day tomorrow with snow ending in the morning hours and light winds. And here's the ABC 17 Storm Track 7-day forecast. You can see it does stay cold. And guess what? I bet you would have never thought. We have another cold front coming in Tuesday. Yeah, and that's going to drop our temperatures even more Wednesday. So we've got a cold week ahead. Slight chance of a few snowflakes anywhere from mid-morning to late morning Tuesday. and then it's dry for the rest of the week.
It's cold out there.
I know.
Thanks a lot, Sharon.
All right.
Kentucky police are investigating a triple homicide in a small town, and the suspect may be connected to another shooting in a different state. We'll have details next.
Kentucky police are investigating a triple murder in the town of Corbin.
The victims are a college professor, her husband, and a young girl. Authorities found the victims apparently dead from gunshot wounds. Police believe the killer may be the same person who was involved in a shootout with police in Baltimore, Maryland earlier today. The suspect, who was shot and killed by police, was driving a car registered to the home where the victims were discovered.
We'll have another look at the forecast for your work week coming after the break, and it's a cold one. Stay with us.